One, team, one, fight, one, team, one, fight.
Welcome to another episode of Truth from the Youth. It's the Truth from the Youth, and if
You can't hang, you go home.
Today's episode is about youth violence, which we hear about so much these days. I'm Cadets Leapaga-Pontes. Today I have with me
Cadets Kuo
and
Cadet Kocher.
Me personally, I'm from Waianae, where every day I hear about shootings and whatnot. What about you? Where are you from?
I'm from Hawaii Kai, Oahu. Sorry.
What about you?
I'm from Puna on the Big Island of Hawaii.
Do you guys hear about violence a lot?
Not really, actually. Where I grew up, it was very calm and quiet all the time. I didn't really deal with any violence growing up.
What about you?
I kind of grew up in a area where there was a lot of violence. It was not a great place, but I strived through it, and I'm here now at Youth Challenge of Hawaii.
So, growing up, you've never really heard about violence? Like, you've never witnessed any?
No, I grew up in a pretty suburb-like area, actually.
Wow. So when I was growing up, I actually had like a bunch of times where I was involved into a lot of violence. I've heard about a lot, like just recently, because I'm from Waianae, where we can't even go out, and then there's shootings, like you get robbed and stuff like that. And then I think it was like, 3 days ago? Did you guys hear about the shooting?
I did
About
actually.
the guy who shot this girl, and then what had happened after that?
I can't remember. I think it was like some altercation when they were partying.
Yes, they were drunk or something. And that's another thing, like it's not only just like gun violence, it's about like drugs too. Like there's so much going on. And it's not only like adults, it's also youth, because youth take a huge hit in it too. Have you ever like witnessed like any gun violence though? Because there's fighting, that's a different story, but like gun violence is also different.
At my school, we had a lot of lockdowns and stuff because we had a lot of gun threats. Not even gun threats, but we had kids bring guns to school a couple of times. Yeah, that was a bit scary for
So
me.
like being on this island, because you're from
Big Island.
Big Island, being on this island, is it different from
Yeah,
you know?
it's a lot more rural. Like you guys have a big city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. So, being from Waianae personally, every day is something new. Like, you know, there's fights, there's gun violence, but like, speaking specifically about youth violence, the schools, man, like, I don't know about your guys' schools, but not my school, because I didn't really go there, but the schools that my families went to, there used to be fights every day, people would get mobbed, stuff like that, and you're not even from Waianae, but like, do you hear about it?
I hear a little bit about it, and even in Hawaii Kai, the first time I experienced like fights was at my high school.
What about you? Do you hear about Waianae? Since being from Big Island, like...
I actually do.
You do?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
My school's just like what you're describing, almost.
Really?
Yeah.
No, actually, I disagree, because Waianae is probably like the most hardcore. I don't know. I rep my city, but you know, I'm a good kid, but you know. I've never heard about Puna though. Like I've never heard.
Yeah,
I think I've seen one fight video, and it was it's like these boys mobbing each other in high school.
Yeah, we actually had a bunch of kids fight. Like I think it was 10 people fought, and 3 of them actually got arrested because they hit a security guard and they started mobbing the security guard.
Wow, that's crazy. So being from Hawaii, I know you don't hear about like fights a lot. Have you ever been to Waianae?
No, I haven't actually.
Have you ever like wondered, or are you scared?
I don't know. I've been curious about what goes on over there. I've just never heard about what's going on because I don't really look in the news.
Oh, you haven't really thought about it. So you've never seen like the shootings and stuff like that, like kids getting arrested, nothing?
No.
Like we're in Kapolei, you know that, right? That's like almost close to Waianae. Did you know that?
My geography about this island is also really bad. You would never have guessed that I grew up here my whole life.
I did guess that you were never here though.
Yeah.
That's scary.
It's pretty embarrassing.
But so, you don't even have like wannabe gangsters. Like you don't have wannabe gangsters in your city, nothing.
No,
Like you don't have boys that think they're just top notch.
I mean, at the school I was going to, my high school, there were, because there were some kids coming from Waimanalo that were going to my school.
Waimanalo was
Yeah,
place too.
and so those are the kids who would fight a lot, and those are the kids who like wanted to be gangsters and stuff.
And you've seen them fight or no?
Yeah, I've seen a few.
So you have witnessed violence?
Yeah, but only recently, like in the last year or so in my life.
I've been to actually Waianae once for a baseball tournament, and one of our teammates got in a fight with the other team.
From Waianae?
Yes.
So, even though like I'm saying that, you know, Waianae is very violent and all we have is just dramas and stuff like that, but Waianae is a really good place though. Like there's the beaches. I know you guys heard about the beaches. There's Mermaid Caves, there's Pokai Bay, or not Pokai Bay, but there's Mermaid Caves. There's a bunch of good beaches, and I know you guys heard because the sunsets are just so great over there. They're bomb. Like I know. Have you heard? I hope
I've
you
heard
did.
of Mermaid Cave before.
Yeah, I hope you did. Because it's a really good place.
Yeah.
But I need to take you guys one day because, like, I don't know. We can probably go bomb at Pokai Bay. Like, when you try to stay out of the drama and out of the violence, it's probably a really good place. Like, as much as I talk down about it, I can because that's where I'm from. Like, that's my home. But if another person wants to talk about it, I'll be like, oh, like, it's not that bad. But I will take you guys one day. But that's also another reason, like, that's why we're here, you know? And you challenge to make a difference, like, as we're being the youth. Like, as we are the youth, they're supposed to set the example for the younger kids that are going to be the next generation after us. Because, you know, everybody just tries to follow each other and stuff like that.
We could also share our experiences we got from Youth Challenge with our youth.
Because there's some kids that they love to exercise, like, but they can't even do that because all the violence. So for us to be in here and us to change it, and then when we go out, set another example, like, I feel like it'll be so much better.
Absolutely.
So today with us we have a special guest, Matt Taufete'e. Did I say that correctly? He is a steady supporter of our Youth Challenge program for many years. His personal experience led him to give back to the community, mentoring and planting seeds to the youth of our island, of Hawaii in general. He is the executive director of First LAP, which is Life After Prison. He offers a positive opportunity for those that were incarcerated, and he helps them assimilate back into the community. We are so blessed to have you today, Uncle Matt. Welcome to our podcast. We have Cadet Kuo, Cadet Kocher, and Cadet Leapaga-Pontes. We also have an anonymous guest, which we are also so blessed to have. So Uncle Matt, what can you say about the youth violence today in comparison to the youth that you faced in the past?
Well, back in our day, it wasn't so much of gun shooting. Yeah, it was more
physical.
Fist fights, knives here and there, but never guns.
Right.
So we look at today, a lot of this gun violence going on. Why is that? I think we need to put more, on the gun laws, because, guns is going everywhere.
Right.
And we don't know how it's getting in the hands of it.
Yes, and now kids are able to, or youth are able to access guns really quickly too. Yeah. For our anonymous guest speaker, he's been in jail for about 17 years. He came out about 7 months ago. He's now enrolled at Shamna University near St. Louis High School. So, sir, what can you say about the violence from today and when you were involved with it? Like, what do you see the differences?
So same thing like Matt said, growing up, we used to get into more physical fist fights, and it wasn't really too much gun violence. What I see now is it's just more easily accessible for kids to get firearms, which is, it's horrendous. You got 14, 15-year-old kids killing each other for no reason. They don't know any better, They're too young to even be playing with weapons like that. But unfortunately, it's happening.
It's also about, how they grew up, where they're from, stuff like that. And I relate too. I see it so much where I'm from in Waianae.
So when you're talking with the youth from Youth Challenge, DH, or from the Hawaii Youth Correctional Facility, what are some challenges that the youth are facing today?
Well, basically, for what I see in a lot of our youths, is looking at where they came from. Yeah, because no kid is seeking to be in a gang, they're all fleeing from something. So if we were to understand the ACE study, the adverse childhood experience, one of the major leading causes of death in adults is the relationship of child abuse and household dysfunction. What are those household dysfunction? A child being physically, sexually, and psychologically abused. They witness violence against their mom. They have a family member who's been in prison, another family member who's been addicted to alcohol and drugs, another family member who's mentally ill or suicidal. Yeah, so the study showed that if a child witnessed 4 or more of that, more than likely they're going to end up with serious mental health issues, get addicted to drugs and alcohol, or attempt suicide. And that's what I see in a lot of our kids. So when I see all of our kids in these places, first thing comes to my mind, how were they brought up? How are their parents? So if we was to have more laborers in the vineyards reaching out to our parents, and I think what we need for a lot of our churches, if you listen to this message, we need to get out there. It's easy to preach and say God's word, but it takes us going out, reaching out to these broken families, because a lot of families are broken.
I agree. I think a lot of families don't know how their behavior can affect their children in the future, and if they do, I think they don't know how to help fix what's going on, or just prevent their child from going down the wrong path.
And that's true. A lot of them, they're set in their old ways. And when I ask a lot of my youth, when I speak to them personally, have you ever asked your parents how they were raised? And you might be surprised that they were brought up the same way.
Right,
That's so the generational curse that the Bible talks about is they passing on how they were raised. They didn't feel a part of, and that's why that was their way of lashing out.
Have you ever talked to any youth that have had like challenges with that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I have been talking to a lot of the youth, and I think the key is education, right? Because if you can recognize the patterns, the things that trigger you, what you're going through, recognize your emotions, your feelings, you'll better be prepared to control yourself and your reactions to things, and not end up in a place like this, And education is key if you want to be successful in the future, business-wise, family-wise, just moving on down the road. So education is key, and not only for the youth, for the parents to realize how they may be harming their children by the things they're doing and the things they're putting in front of their kids.
And what helped you overcome some of the challenges that you faced as a youth?
Finally having somebody tell me that. Because when my pastor gave his sermon in 1996, when he gave the altar call, I remember his words. Is there anyone here who never felt love before? That's when I stood up crying. I want to introduce you to this man named Jesus. And ever since that day, my life turned for the better. I just love everybody. Because an innocent man sacrificed his life for people like me, for our anonymous speaker, for you and you, because he believed in us. So every time we speak to our youth, we always provide that hope and tell them, you can be better than their dad.
What about you, sir? What helped you overcome the challenges that you went through as youth?
Just putting my head down and pushing through it. Believing there's always a better day, one foot in front of the other. No matter what you go through in life, you just gotta keep believing, keep pushing, strive for what you know you deserve.
What was your biggest changing point in your life, Uncle Matt?
Biggest changing point when our youth ministry of Word of Life called the Men of War, led by Pastor Joe Anasai, we would go to all the middle schools and high schools and we would share our stories with the kids. And turning to the kids, I seen they put their head down, they start to pout and cry. For a lot of us at that age, we're ashamed to cry from others. So I knew that they were feeling the same pain I went through as a kid. And that's why I believe God called me, to reach out to our youth. Get them at an age before they reach the adult stage. Because when you guys reach the adult stage, our criminal justice system is setting up our men for fail. And not too many programs allowed in there, to go to, teach our men how to act, how to be a better father, husband. Not too many programs in there. So we were to focus more on rehabilitation rather than punishment. Yeah. So we're trying to model the program of Homeboys Industry, led by Father Greg Boyle, the biggest gang intervention drug rehab in the world. Yeah, and he focuses on this thing called trauma. Yeah. So trying to get the kids to deal with their trauma is why we need a lot of leaders. Homeboy Industry, they have like 34 volunteer therapists. Yeah. And not too many people have the compassion to spend their time just to reach out to a youth. Yeah, if we could get more of that in Hawaii. I was just at a summit with Governor Josh Green on May 31st. I got to shake his hand, take a picture with him. So the whole summit was based on getting all the state agencies to be focused on the Trauma-Informed Care Initiative. Trauma-Informed Care Initiative. So we need to train our staff, our leaders to understand the trauma that not only inmates, the men and women, but our children as well. Yeah. Or rather or not, those agencies are implementing that, I don't know. But I know for First Lab, Peacemakers, and our partner Kuo Foundation, who've been working, helping our women come out, we have a successful rate of people not returning to prison.
That's incredible.
That is good. That is a great thing.
What was your biggest changing point in your life, sir?
Just that feeling of not being in control of my surroundings. Stuck in prison, they just step on you. Locked in solitary confinement for years at a time. One phone call a month, one letter a month. My family stuck it with me, supported me all the way through. And that just gave me that fire to fight the system and fight what they're doing to our men. And just gave me something to hold on to.
And like I said, he's one of the role models, at our place. Yeah. So I'm proud of him, just to think of his connection, the support of his wife, his children. Yeah. So he's being the man that I just talked about. Yeah. Taking care of his family, his children. So we were able to break that generational curse that was passed down to us.
Right. So Uncle Matt, how do you feel about youth today getting arrested for the same or similar reason as you did when you were younger? What is your intake? Like, how do you feel?
Well, if you was to look at the way the system is set up, sad to say because I'm also a mentor, for a lot of our youth out there. I'm partnered with Child Welfare Service, because they heard I've been volunteering my time, helping out any youth I can. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I got to meet one of the judges. Yeah, being in court with one of the youth and just looking at the sentencing, the youth got, in actuality, is that really helping the youth or not?
Yes.
Yeah, because they were given probation, let out. Yeah, and if they let out with nobody to supervise them, they're going to end up picking up another charge and eventually going to get worse. And so, it's difficult because I have exactly, only because anonymity, I cannot share about one of the youth in there. But it's going to, similar to what you guys just spoke about. Yeah. Access to God.
Yes.
If I could expound real quick on what I was talking about as far as the sentencing,
Yes, sir.
it took me back to my crime. The family retaliated, that killed my older brother, and so that 5 guys were involved, but they made the youth take the rap. Because of the sentencing, they gave him only 1 year. He went to Kolau, got released, but still nobody supervising him. He ended up back to the gang life, drinking, drugging, then he picked up a 20-year charge. Yeah.
Dang.
So he ended up right in the system, and this is how, the love of God works. I made amends with the sister in 2014, and the man that killed my brother was my speaker May 24th of this year in the prison. Yeah.
And,
So just thinking about the sentencing, back then, did it really help him? And I don't think
I don't
it
think
did.
so.
Yeah. So a lot
I don't
of
think
these
so.
youth, they're getting 18 years probation. They out there, like one of the youth I'm over, similar thing. Yeah, he's on the run. He picked up another charge. What is it gonna take for, and that's why I really believe in this foster home for our kids. Have more supervision with certified peer specialists, as our staff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's also the environment, where they grew up, how they're growing up, who they hang out with, the peer pressure, stuff like that. But for our guest speaker, how do you feel about kids getting arrested for probably the same charges you went through and whatnot?
It breaks my heart. I don't want to see anybody go through what I went through. It happens, but I pray every day that it doesn't. No family should have to go through what my family went through. No family should have to go through what my victim's family went through. These are things that'll stay with us for life,
Right. And for our last question we have for you today, Uncle Matt, what do you think we can do as a state, especially for us being in Youth Challenge Academy, trying to change ourselves, because in here, we're known as the bad kids, stuff like that. What do you think we can do as a state or as children, as the youth, to help prevent the violence that we see as of today?
I think with the certification that we provide, the state recognizes that now. So Governor Josh Green, he actually signed a bill in support of that. So if we could get more leaders with lived experiences, to come and mentor each youth, I think that would help. We need to change a lot of our policies, in the state as far as with, because I believe inmates make better role models. That's what our certification does.
Yes.
In prison to people who went through it. Rather than somebody who have all these degrees, book smart, but yet for somebody like us to ask this counselor, what do you know? Have you ever been there?
Yeah.
So with people with lived experience, that's how the youths would be able to have somebody they can look up to.
Someone they can
so
relate
we can work
to.
together to make better choices.
Yes.
Because who we surround ourselves with is what we become. So
Right.
we hang around with a bad environment, eventually we're going to end up becoming just like that. So we need to hang around with more positive people. So if we have people like our anonymous speaker, myself, a lot of people on my Peacemakers team, Kuo Foundation. That's what we need, more people to support our youth.
Right. Show me your friend, show me your future type.
Yeah.
And for our anonymous speaker, is there anything you'd like to say that could give us any ideas to help us help the other youth to prevent the violence as of today?
Same thing like Matt was sharing. When I was a kid, I was trying to listen to people like me. I wasn't trying to listen to a teacher that didn't grow up like me, or like people with
Yeah.
experience, right? So I'm sure it's the same for you guys. You guys are like, you don't know what it's like, right?
Right.
So just having people that you can relate to that have been through it and came out better because of it shows you that there is a brighter future, so having more things like that, more structure, more support, and then just for all the youth, I mean, a lot of this gun violence and stuff like that comes because kids are being bullied, and kids are picking on kids because they dress differently, they talk differently.
Right.
I mean, I was driving past a school over here the other day, and I seen like a little gay kid, right, dressed like a girl, a transgender, and there was like this kid walking 10 feet in front of him yelling, "I hate gay people," right? Like, what is that for?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So like kids like that need education, right? Like, okay, you don't like gay people, keep it to yourself, bro. You don't need to be a bully and make this other kid feel bad about who he is, right? Who
Because
she
then that
is.
person will just grow up to be
Yeah.
more violent.
So
Exactly.
things like that scar kids, traumatize kids. So it's just like kids in general need to be nicer to each other. I
Right.
mean, if you don't like somebody, hey, don't deal with them. Stay away from them, right? You don't need to make them feel less than they are.
You don't have to make it
because-
known either.
Exactly. So it's like just people need to be nicer to each other in general, right? And it's not just the youth; it's adults too. Adults, a lot of them are not very well mannered, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just like I said, education. People need to learn how to speak to each other, how to treat each other with respect. I mean, aloha has pretty much went out the window in the past 20 years.
Right.
A lot of people are just jerks. I mean, to be blunt.
Yeah.
And that creates animosity and things like this where neighbors hate each other and they're shooting each other. Like, bro, why can't we just have a conversation?
Retaliation. Yeah.
Let's have a conversation, figure out what's going on, and we can get this fixed. You know what I mean? Like, it's as simple as that. People need to learn how to communicate.
I 1000% agree. 1000%. There's a bunch of kids I know that got bullied and they ended up trying to commit suicide and whatnot. Especially because, like Uncle Matt said, it's about the environment, and it is like spread aloha, not hate, like you said. So I 1000% agree.
Yeah, people need to know that they're loved, like regardless. You never know what one kind gesture could do for somebody, right? Because you don't know what he's going through today.
Right.
He could be ready to kill himself.
Right.
But one kind gesture could have saved him from jumping off the bridge. Right? So you never know what one kind gesture can do for somebody.
That's what I'm saying.
Completely
And
agree.
I totally agree too, because you never know what people are going through.
You never know. Somebody might have a smile on and they're the most miserable person on the island today.
Exactly. Is there anything you guys like to say?
That was wonderful. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
thank
Yes,
both
thank
of you
you.
guys for coming. This is probably gonna be our best video yet. And we totally agree. About to go back out, talk to the other youth that we are with, and tell them to be nicer. Because there's a lot of people that are still have the same mindset as before they came in. As this academy, still known as the bad kids, right? So they're always trying to like, oh, I'm bigger, badder.
One
But,
up each other.
Yeah. But as us witnessing, what you guys told us today, we're about to go back out there. We're gonna see, spread aloha, not hate. You never know what people are going through. Don't do bad stuff to put yourself back into bad positions, stuff like that.
Show me your friend, show me your future. I really like that.
No, that's the truth.
Right.
If you're hanging out with guys on the street, you're gonna be on the street. If
Right.
you're hanging out with businessmen, millionaires, success breeds success, right? Who you hang out with is what you're gonna act like and what you're gonna be. Period, point blank.
I agree.
Thank you for taking your time out of your day to come here and share
Thank
your
you for having
stories.
us.
Yes, thank you, Uncle Wow. And thank you to our anonymous guest speaker. Man, that was a great interview, don't you think? I think so.
Yeah. I really appreciate what they do for us and for all the youth in Hawaii. They really help out our community.
They do. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it was great to hear their story and how they grew up, and it was just great to learn about their opinions on what's going on with the youth today.
Right, and I remember Uncle Matt brought up ACEs. You know how it like all the violence, especially with the youth, it started from ACEs. What is your intake on that?
It's like how children's experiences growing up and like whether their family had alcoholics, drug addicts, violence, that can shape who they become as adults, and that was really nice to learn about.
Right, the background. They do so much. Uncle Matt and especially his anonymous guest speaker, they do so much. They talk to all the kids that are not participating, but they're involved with ACEs, which is adverse childhood experiences. Everyone goes through it. I'm sure we went through it at least a little, at some point. Definitely. But for our announcements today, we have our virtual briefing for Class 6-2. It's every Tuesday at 10 a.m. for every island, no matter where you are. Even if you're in the mainland, no matter where you are. The sign up is right here. And if you're not able to make the sign up, the number is right here.
Make sure you stay updated with our Facebook and Instagram. Our Facebook is Hawaii Youth Challenge Academy Oahu, right here. And our Instagram is HYCA808, right here.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Our goal is to reach, teach, and inspire the youth, but not only the youth, the families, and the communities around them. Thank you for tuning in from Truth from the Youth. It's the Truth from the Youth, and if you can't hang, you go home. Mahalo.
Hello. Thank you.
Hey! Attention!